was like a red and ruby chalice, warmer than a summer night. The clouds were like an alabaster palace, rising to a snowy height. Each star its own aurora borealis. Suddenly you held me tight. I could see the midnight sun. I can't explain the silver rain that found me, or was that a moonlit veil? The music of the universe around me, or was that a nightingale? And then your arms miraculously found me. Suddenly the sky turned pale. I could see the midnight sun. Was there such a night? It's a thrill I still don't quite believe. Still some stardust on my sleeve. The pain of it may dwindle to an ember, and the stars forget to shine, and we may see the meadow in December, icy white and crystalline. But oh, my darling, always I'll remember when you were close to me, and I saw the midnight sun, and I saw the midnight sun, and I saw the midnight sun.
If you think about it, a flower is made out of rain and sunshine and dirt. Without rain and sunshine and dirt, a flower can't exist. The same is true of us humans. We are made of dust and the breath of God. We are made of rain and sunshine and topsoil too. Everything we eat is made of other pieces of creation. Without the rest of creation, our little part of it can't exist. Welcome to Rhythm and Word, a midweek spiritual pause from Fourth Presbyterian Church. I'm Nanette Sawyer, one of the pastors here at Fourth. This month we're celebrating the beauty of the earth, God's good creation, and our relationship to it. Last week we reflected on sufficiency and satisfaction. This week we're thinking about interdependence. God's creation is an exquisite, intricate network of relationships, and God is intimately present throughout all creation. I'm thinking of what the Apostle Paul says when he's preaching in Athens in the book of Acts, that God is the one in whom we live and breathe and have our being. We Christians believe in the incarnation, the idea that God entered fully into our material world in the form of Jesus. The Constitution of our Presbyterian Church says that in Jesus Christ, the Word became flesh and God hallowed material reality. God's holiness is fully present in this physical world. God showed us that God is not just supernatural, not just above nature or outside or beyond nature. Our God is deeply in this world. As theologian Sally McFague has said, our God is supernatural, and calls us to be supernatural Christians too. Having a God like this, an incarnational God, means that trusting God, knowing God, loving God, can't fully be done by looking beyond this creation. We have to look at and in the creation too. God is everywhere in creation and is also part of us, and we are part of God. Listen to these words of Jesus in the Gospel of John. Jesus said, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the vineyard keeper. He removes any of my branches that don't produce fruit, and he trims any branch that produces fruit so that it will produce even more fruit. You are already trimmed because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. A branch can't produce fruit by itself, but must remain in the vine. Likewise, you can't produce fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, then you will produce much fruit. Without me, you can't do anything." The power of Jesus, the capacity of Jesus, gives us the capacity to create, to bear fruit, metaphorically speaking. Jesus talks about being part of his disciples and them being part of him. There's a deep and thorough connection, and yet there's a distinctiveness too. The vine and the branches depend on each other, but they are not the same. They each play their role in the creation of abundance. We do what we do in collaboration with God and by the creative power of God that's in us. 13th century mystic Meister Eckhart said that God's very being saturated all of life itself. God's being is my life, he wrote. God's isness is my isness, and neither more nor less. When Jesus says that he is the vine and we are the branches, he describes how the power of life and the power of creation comes to us from God, from the all that is. 12th century abbess and mystic Hildegard of Bingen reflected on this same interconnectedness of God and life when she wrote, "God is life that nurtures every creature in its kind." God is in and throughout every part of creation. And similarly, God's creation is interconnected with all the other parts. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once famously said, "We are all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied into a single garment of destiny." He went on to say that before you finish eating breakfast in the morning, you've depended on more than half the world. He was talking about all the things we use in the morning that come to us from all the different parts of the world to prepare for our day. Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh describes this interdependence in a different way. He said, "When we look at a chair, we see the wood, but we fail to observe the tree, the forest, the carpenter, or our own mind. When we meditate on it, we can see the entire universe in all its interwoven and interdependent relations in the chair. The presence of the wood reveals the presence of the tree. The presence of the leaf reveals the presence of the sun. The presence of the apple blossoms reveals the presence of the apple. Meditators can see the one in the many and the many in the one. The chair is not separate. It exists only in its interdependent relations with everything in the universe. It is because all other things are." Similarly, we humans can only exist because all other things exist. Without the eggs we had for breakfast, or the chickens that laid them, or the corn that fed them, or the farmer that grew the corn, or the dirt that nurtured the seed, or the rain that softened the earth, or the sun that let the plant transform compost into new growth, and on and on and on and on in an endless cycle of life. Without all of that, we could not exist. So it's interesting to think of ourselves as stewards of the earth. In the book of Genesis, when God created, there came a moment when God commanded the humans to be stewards of the earth, and that is an important responsibility of ours. But given that we are completely dependent upon the earth for our own life, we might consider that the earth is also stewarding us. The earth is also caring for us. Rather than thinking that we are somehow separate from the earth or somehow better or more responsible or more developed or somehow more capable, consider how desperately needy we are and how vulnerable we are for our survival, dependent on all the systems of creation and recreation that God has put into place in our world. Let's pray. Creator God, your world is more grand and complex than we can possibly imagine. Help us to find our place in the world, to know how deeply precious we are, and yet how completely dependent we are on the life and survival of every other part of creation. Fill us with hope and love and gratitude for all the ways that we are nourished by your creation. We pray in your holy name. Amen. Friends, go out into this gorgeous world with peace in your hearts. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all people. Love and serve the Lord our God, rejoicing in the fellowship of the Holy Spirit. And may God bless you and keep you. May God make God's face to shine upon you. May God be gracious to you and give you peace, now and forevermore. Amen.